Rebecca, it's nearly 12 months since employers had to re-engineer the workplace to accommodate remote working. And for many people, it's not a temporary fix. Many companies will be operating like this in the long term. What issues are employers reporting as a consequence of this new way of working?
Well, I think the first thing to look at in what is now the third enforced lockdown is the fact that some employers are perhaps normalising the remote working, the work from home arrangements. And I don't think that that is necessarily the right thing to do, because there'll be many employees who still don't feel it's normal, and employees that, although they've been provided with IT equipment and workplace from home risk assessments, and they'll have received support from their employers in respect of working from home, they probably don't feel it's normal. And I think employers perhaps are in danger of becoming a little detached from what is normal, what is temporary. And I think also that you might find that some employers are assuming a little too much in respect of thinking that it is a permanent arrangement. Now, some employees, it may suit them if it's a permanent arrangement or a semi-permanent, flexible working arrangement going forwards. But there'll be a lot of employees that haven't actually quite got to that stage yet and don't want to get to that stage. They may want to be back at the office.
I'm pretty sure that management textbooks, up until now anyway, don't include any great depth analysis of managing during a pandemic and the great uncertainty that brings. Rebecca, could you share a few key things that employers should be doing now to support their colleagues during these challenging times?
Yes, no, absolutely. And it's, at the risk of bringing out a hackneyed phrase, it's communication, communication, communication. I've worked with a number of clients who have put in place training for managers on how to, how to run a remote workforce. And it always comes back to the level of communication, the check-ins that are made with their employees. And whereas in the office or, a physical environment, you can spot signs where somebody might not be very happy, where somebody might be struggling with a piece of work. With regards to the work from home, it's looking very much, at more nuanced issues. So looking at somebody's engagement levels, they might not be joining meetings on time. They might not be joining meetings at all. They might have decided that they are going to withdraw from the level of engagement that they once had. So it's really for managers to try and work out how they check in with all of their employees. And there isn't necessarily a one size fits all either. An employee that's only been with the business for a short period of time and is learning new skills may need far more check-ins than somebody that's quite established in their career and knows what it is, knows how they're meant to be getting on with their work. So it's really looking at your individual employees as a manager and saying, what level of support do I need? And if necessary, agree a support plan. I don't think there's anything wrong with actually saying to that employee, how many times would you like me to check in, or, what method of checking in, because it's not going to be the same for everybody.
We are now in the third lockdown, and I think we're going to be here for some time. The furlough scheme runs till the end of April. The Chancellor will be on his feet on March the 3rd. If you could advise, if you're advising the Chancellor on what he might consider for the next phase of the job support scheme, what would you tell him?
I would really urge caution about putting a hard stop date on the ending of furlough on the 30th of April. I think that is just going to accelerate business failures. We've heard a lot about small business failures to come. 250,000 has been a number that's been spoken about recently. But even those larger businesses are going to struggle with the immediate withdrawal of support from effectively the 1st of May. So I think he has to look at the gradual reduction of the government support, possibly looking at introducing the job support scheme that was due to be introduced on the 1st of November. So that's employers having to guarantee 20% of work again for employees, and then receiving about a third for non-worked hours. So it's putting those things into place, and the budget has been labelled very much as a, sort of a next stage plan for jobs, as a job stimulus, as opposed to emergency support measures like furlough. So whilst the emergency perhaps isn't there in quite the same way, there is still a need for support measures in terms of wage costs being paid where businesses are impacted still and people can't work. But that needs to be tapered off gradually. Put in place the Kickstart programs, put in place the job support programs where there will still be a level of support, but do not do a hard stop shutdown of furlough.